Okay, have rock.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody? All right, here you go. We are live once again with Foster's Animal World, the only place in America that you don't have to worry about being shot by the police for whatever, or hearing about Ferguson. No, wait a minute, that's a lie.
That's a lie.
We are going to talk about Ferguson. Only because I would be a African American man, and I'd be dismissed if I didn't, because I made it to be an older guy, and I just want to spread a little love and knowledge with some of the youth out there. Number one, Michael Brown's parents. Shame on you, because you guys let your child grow up to be a little criminal and thus end up being shot in the back, in the head, in the chest, or wherever else he was shot. It's a damn shame, because my mom taught me stay out the system, okay? I'll never forget it growing up. Stay out the system, because nothing has really changed in this country a whole lot as far as the law enforcement groups and African Americans go. They will kill you, okay, if you're a young black man or old black man or whatever, and they get an opportunity. So I'm saying this, that his parents the whole thing started with a handful of cigars, stolen cigars. All right, him in the liquor store and then walking down the street with a handful of cigars in the middle of the street. All right, that's where the blame goes first. Mom and dad, then Michael, and then the ignorant police officer who killed the boy. Because if you can't figure out a better way to handle a situation, you're sitting in your patrol car and you can't call for help, and you end up some kind of way. It's hard for me to envision a cop getting beat in his patrol car. It's like, hit the siren, everybody's paying attention, everything stops, a whole bunch of other stuff. Shoot him in the leg and the thigh and the foot and the neck. I don't know, but I know that that's a problem. And the way that law enforcement groups in this country just, they don't have any federal review or oversight. They just do what they want, and you get these local municipalities. It's just like handing out tickets, man, having speed traps. They do what they want to, and then the rest of us have to deal with the repercussions. So anyway, enough of that. Hope America heals. You gotta respect the system of law that we got. Regardless if we like it or not. You have to go with it. The grand jury said that's what it is, and that's what it is, man. So, take it up in the court systems, take it up in other ways, but the burning and the fighting and the looting and the shooting, that's insane. Because people don't have jobs this morning, Rock. I'm sure some of those businesses that got burned up, there was people we're employing people. So sorry to hear about that, and let's move on. But there was a dog shot, man, a police dog around my house yesterday. Some criminal, and they sent the police dog in there in the city of Covina. You guys might have heard about it, the people locally here in California. So the dog is in full recovery. And I say, hey, right on, buddy. I'm glad for that. Today's show, we have everybody from stopcrush.org. Okay, this should be great. You guys, as you know, when we kind of found out about this a little while back, most people don't know about Stop Crush and the Stop Crush videos and all that stuff that's happening. So we want to educate you guys on Stop Crush. We want to educate you on Heart Stick. We want to educate you. Oh, hold on. Let me see. I got. Huh? Marla, hold on. Okay. Whoops. Wait, I'm going to have to turn that boy. There we go. As a matter of fact, I think there's somebody from Stop Crush right there online. Let me put on my headset and see. Also, so we're going to do the Heart Stick thing. Today, we're going to have our correspondent, Regina, is going to call in and Skype in and stuff, and we're going to talk about Heart Stick. And we're going to perform our own Heart Stick right here, live. Yes, sir, Bob. Boy, we're going to upset some people. Hey, let me see if the phone is working. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, how are you? Good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Good morning. Who's this?
This is Marla Stormwolf Patty.
Hey, how are you,
Hi.
Marla?
How are you doing?
Good, good. So I'm not sure, because I don't take direction well. So I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you were Skyping in and who's Skyping, who's calling, who's coming in the studio and all of that. So
I think Ray and Anthony are Skyping. My Skype crashed my computer last night for some reason.
Oh, is that right? Oh, I hate it when that happens.
I did too.
I'm having,
Really annoying. I mean, they can't get Skype.
That was breakfast, Paula. That was it's the holiday, so I'm just starting the holiday cheer a little early,
A little early.
Yeah, and I saw how great that, how wonderful, who is it, Hoda and, what's her name, in American, in the morning time, Kathy Lee and Hoda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't really watch a lot of that. I'm sorry.
I don't either, but I know that they drink on their show in the morning, so I said, well, hell.
Well, that's not a bad idea, actually. Go get some tea, actually.
That's right.
Walk into the kitchen here.
Let's wake up, So, so Marla is from. Wait a minute. Before Marla, I get super started. Let me say hello to our co-host and my partner in crime, Paula Archer in Missouri, or as we say here in California, Misery.
Hello, Paula.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I think
little sleepy, but
Yeah,
that's...
yeah. It's so funny. Paula's Skype is frozen up, and it's frozen up in this Marilyn Monroe position. Yeah, it is. She's got her hand behind her head. Yeah, it's so funny. But anyway, so everybody, Marla is from StopCrush.org, and today we've dedicated this whole show to Stop Crush awareness and education for the public and Heart Stick. And we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be doing our own little Heart Stick here.
Yeah, I was curious about that. I heard that as I was calling in.
Yeah.
And when I say curious, I mean as an activist. What do you mean you're going to Heart Stick?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. My engineer was talking to me for a second. Maybe, okay. So, my headset. That's me. Okay. Oh, that's you? Okay, so my my headset keeps dropping down. That's not you. That's okay. Anyway, sorry, Marla. You heard about that, huh?
Yeah, when I called in, I was listening to you talking to your audience, and that caught my attention naturally.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we figure we're not doing this show for those who already know. We're doing it for those who don't know. So the best thing that everybody could do is send it to some of their friends who are not animal people,
Mm-hmm.
And the animal people already, we're preaching to the choir. But when we can inform one or more of the average Joe, the John Q. Publics, to what's going on with with the Stop Crush videos, what's going on with Heart Stick, then we've achieved some sort of success,
Right.
Yeah. So let's just go ahead and get started, and let's tell some people about, you guys' organization and what you do and how you guys got started and all of that first.
Is Anthony and Ray on, or?
No. Let's make it a party. Rock, do you want to bring Anthony in and Ray? Okay, I think Ray's Skype is Raven something or another. Did she give you, Paula? We have those on our list that we can pull up.
I'm trying to do it right now.
Okay, he's pulling up Raven. Do you see it, Anthony? Paula Archer. Paula.
Yes.
Uh,
Rock should have it on the email.
Oh,
Let me see if I can find
okay.
again.
No, Rosie, you can't have tea.
Skype sometimes isn't very user friendly, is it? Won't let you copy and paste.
Aha.
That's how I feel about most electronics.
No, well,
Yeah.
all you guys are better than me because I have no clue. But we will have Ray up in a second. There we go. We've reached,
Oh, I can hear it.
yeah.
No, it's me trying to call Paula.
Oh, okay. We lost Paula, so it only.
I'm back.
Okay, Paula's back. So
Paula,
Yeah.
I'm back.
yeah, so we'll just keep going here and get everybody in. It's just a matter of moments. Yeah. Boom, boom,
Do you have you probably have a pretty young group also listening to your show, like children?
No.
No, okay. That's what I
No,
was kind of worried about. That.
No, we ran all the kids away the first couple of episodes a year and a half ago.
No, they're gone.
Yeah.
All right. I just wasn't because the topic itself is kind of it's difficult.
No. Oh yeah. No. We don't have any children, calling this show or on this show or watching this show. I think, as a matter of fact, somebody tried to sit their child down and show them the first episode of Burrito X, and they sent me an email. This is not for kids. And I
This
said,
is not what I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
uh-huh.
Okay.
And I said, you're right. We never said it was kids because the kids aren't the problems. It's the adults,
Yeah, I don't think children are. I think they follow what they see.
That's right. And that's why we have, repeated cases of.
Ray, but I don't know if he's there or not.
Okay, Ray. We got Ray. Ray, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, looky there. We got Ray.
Hey, Ray.
All right, so
Hey,
Ray.
Marla.
All right, so do you think we can get Rick?
Anthony?
That's what I said. Anthony? If we get Anthony, we got everybody. The miracles of technology. And anybody know Anthony's Skype offhand?
Star Wars. I'm not sure.
Come on, I'll grab it.
Oh, he's got it. See there?
Oh, okay.
That's right. We're good around here.
The thing with children, too, is that's part of why we're trying to stop the videos. It's not just to spread awareness to children. It's, some of these women that they use, some of the females they use in these videos are children.
Mm.
They're minors that have been taken from the child trafficking.
Really?
Yeah.
Sitting
So that's part of why we are trying to spread awareness to parents to protect their children as well.
Now, are there any?
Was it Anthony?
Yeah, Anthony. Yes, that's who we were trying to get. Are there any statistics or any of that, or numbers or information about what countries these a lot of the children that get brought into this are taken from?
Well, I think it's. I think people in America are under the illusion that skin trafficking happens in other countries, and I don't think that they're aware that the United States is one of the top countries where children are abducted and females are abducted and males are abducted.
You're kidding.
No, there's quite a few rings. There's quite a few people taken through a ring through the United States. See,
Wow.
through the United States, you can head off into other areas.
Whoa.
So it's not just happening overseas. For some reason, there's this illusion that it's happening overseas. But if you go to missing children sites, if you go to any of the sites that also give you those kind of statistics, it's on the rise here in the United States.
Wow. So children are being stolen here and then
Yeah.
sold and
They're being
into
sold,
slavery and everything all around the world.
They're going missing. Yeah. How they're getting them through customs, we don't know. That part I just don't know. I mean, it's not an area that I know detailed statistics about.
Right.
But I do know. We come into contact with a lot of different groups that are looking for children. When we come across a couple of videos and we can tell that one of the women in the videos is actually made to look like an adult, she's probably around 15, we will contact missing persons organizations and say, look, we've got a still from this video. Can you match it with your database? Because we think that she's a child. Yeah, we're pretty... Stop Crush is about protecting animals and protecting children. I mean, we're pretty fierce about protecting children as well.
Now,
Because to us, they're innocent, you know?
Right. Now, how long have you been doing this kind of work, Marla?
Oh, my gosh. Well, my activism started when I was very young. Before I knew what it was called. You know, I didn't know it was called activism. I just, you know, when you're a child and you see a dog in the backyard and you went home from school and he's being neglected, for me, I just didn't think, and I just thought, well, I'm going to go get that dog.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that it's something that comes from that. It's an awareness around you. And when I realized, when I got a little bit older in my teens, I realized, oh, there's other people that think like I do. You know, you naturally gravitate towards them. And that's when you start to join organizations, go to rallies, go to bookstores. You know, we used to go to bookstores and sit down in the little library area of a bookstore and talk about different theologies, the different ideas, the different means of how political oppression can oppress all means of life. And so those are the kind of things that we would discuss. And then after that, I just started to kind of, you know, jump in wherever I could help, wherever I felt I could help. With Stop Crush, we started the organization because we felt there wasn't enough awareness. Mm-hmm. This shouldn't be illegal. This shouldn't be legal in this country. It should be illegalized. And we thought, well, if more people knew about it, they, of course, you know, I'm counting on their good nature to come with us and make it illegal. And I couldn't believe the amount of opposition we were up against. But the more people that got involved in the United States, the more they were like, you know, that's it. We're going to get this out of the country. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really reaffirming to me that there were so many people in the country and all over the world that really were going to put their foot down to this. So it wasn't a question of free speech. Right.
So I think we got Antony on the Skype, correct? Anthony, you there?
Hey, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, Anthony.
Yes.
Hello.
Hey, and we got Paula. So
Hi.
Hey. So Anthony, welcome to the show. I don't know. Could you hear us before?
I didn't get the first part of it. No, I got towards the end.
Oh, okay. Well, you got towards the end of the beginning because we're just getting started. Marla was just telling us about. I asked her how long she had been involved in this and what got her started. You know. So let me ask you. And before I do, for those of you who know and those of you who don't know, we had Rae on our show a couple of weeks ago. And she's an investigator and, you know, like I like to fantasize the private detective of the sleaze world, doing some great work, man, trying to, you know, find out about who these people are and stuff. So Rae put us in touch with Marla and with Antony. So we're making today's show all about Stop Crush so we can educate everyone and everyone can find out what exactly Stop Crush is and what we can do as individuals around the world to help their fight and help bring this stuff to an end. So, Anthony, tell us, how long have you been involved in this? And how did you get started?
Specifically, stopcrush.org, correct?
Yes, sir. Well, or anything else. I mean, give us your background. We're just meeting you, so welcome to Foster's Animal World, and inform us about you, sir.
Well, it's great to be here. I've been in activism for quite a while, but I started more in political activism. This was over a decade ago, and I was just tired of the whole two-party system.
Correct.
And I'd always been on and off during my life a vegetarian. I've always loved animals, and going from one form of activism to the next just seemed like a seamless transition to me, from human rights to environmental to animal rights, all of it. And I think that what really sparked me into what brought me to animal activism was my environmental work. Because the more that I investigated the actual causes of the major degradations to the ecosystem all over the world, the more it kept leading me to the same problem, which is animal-based agriculture. And that just brought me closer toward the animal plight. And the more that I got involved in different forms of animal activism, and the more I saw animal plight, the more I became my definition of a vegan. Because even before, when I was eating vegan-friendly food, I didn't consider myself a vegan because I was only doing it for environmental reasons. But as I started to understand the complexities of the social justice issue, that brought me to veganism and then animal rights activism. So as far as Stop Crush is concerned, I think it was roughly about, I want to say 2007 when I saw my first Animal Crush video. And I was just devastated, just disgusted.
Right.
And I was looking around to try and find out what could be done about this. And there was actually a law in place that was supposed to be geared, in the United States, was supposed to be geared toward prosecuting these people who were doing this. But the law was very overdrafted. It was overbroad. It wasn't very well worded. It wasn't well tailored. And that law was actually struck down in the beginning of 2010. That was because of the Stevens case, very well-known dogfighting case.
Stephen, well, expound upon that so that our listeners can pull it up on the net for themselves and stuff who might not know.
Actually, Marla is very well versed in this. She can tell you all.
Marla?
The Stevens versus the United States case, yes. Stevens had a dogfighting video that he narrated, and he said that he could sell these videos because it's for educational purposes. The dogfighting video was not an Animal Crush video. The law that was thrown at him when he was arrested, the law that was thrown at him was the initial Animal Crush video law, which didn't really cover it. So because they used that particular charge against him, it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that this law didn't cover what Stevens had done. This was not a dog fighting. The law was covering Animal Crush and not dog fighting. So they threw the law out. The White House was against them throwing the law out. But instead of revising the law, they decided to just throw the whole charge out, which included the law. So this made Animal Crush, for a brief time in the United States, legal again.
Right.
And the Animal Crushers wasted no time in uploading as many videos as they could and sending them to us.
Wow, sending them to you guys? Well, let me, because
yeah.
we can't, and hold on, I want to expound. Because we can't show those videos on the air, I did a little drawing of myself. Here we go. This is an example of Stop Crush. That is a kitten or a puppy or
move a little to your left.
Oh, like that? Does that work?
The other way.
The other way. My other left.
Little more.
There you go.
A little bit more.
My computer's jamming up, so I'm not able to see.
Anyway, but yeah, that's a
I see it now.
yeah, that's a little graphic of what we're talking about, people. It's some sickness with women and other people, and you guys got to inform me too, because I don't know. This is just my interpretation of what I've been able to gather of puppies and kittens and baby animals, chicks and other stuff being stomped to death, right?
They've actually done donkeys as well. They've they take any animal they can get their hands on to harm, to torture, to mutilate. There's nothing that they won't do to an animal in these videos. And they try to keep the animal alive as long as they can to extend the torture and the savagery. It's absolutely horrific.
And so,
horrific.
So here in the United States, our great country, which is, it's funny to be talking about this topic this morning. After the whole Ferguson thing, if we don't, we don't have much value for human lives, So to expect some of these idiots to, have value for animals,
right.
it almost seems hopeless,
But this is common throughout history. If we look at our history in every country, the more divided a government becomes, the more divided its people become. And these are some of the first things that you'll see, besides the massive poverty, the massive ecological and economic widespread disparities. You're going to see this kind of cruelty, this type of disregard for life, things that people don't want to be reminded of, which is why people are going after, why so many governments in the world go after homeless, but in the United States in particular, they're going after the homeless. And so you're going to see this type of thing. The more polarized the country becomes, the more that middle Gulf area becomes kind of a dark place.
Yeah, right. I mean, because just a couple of, not months even, I guess, Paula, maybe weeks ago, right? We were doing shows about the, just the increase of dog shootings by the police,
Yes.
And you have these things like Ferguson. You have the execution of dogs by the police, and it's like it's a heartless, society to the point of, and it's not the society, it's these law enforcement groups, that feel like they just can be more and more evil and mean, whereas like they are put here to literally police the world, and to, as opposed to, it's supposed to be about protection, as I thought, They were.
Well, we haven't reached fascism yet. I know a lot of people are saying we're living in a fascist country, but I've lived in other countries and we haven't reached fascism yet. We are militarizing, however, and that's always a first sign. There's several signs to fascism beginning to start, but really, people are not being independent thinkers, philosophers are not being lined up and shot in colleges, for example.
Yeah.
We're still allowed to talk on the radio, things of this nature. So we haven't hit fascism yet.
They'll be after me, though. You can count on that.
Activists are some of the first. Writers are some of the first people that they go after because an idea that's being spelled out is dangerous. I don't have to explain. I mean, you already know what we're looking at coming down the road. And I also think that it's hard to tell how much shooting of dogs was happening prior to social sites. Right,
because nobody was reporting on it.
With the advancement of our social sites and people taking footage now. So I don't have the facts on that. I don't have the numbers on that. I do see that it's on the rise.
Yeah.
And they're getting away with it with impunity. Just impunity. I mean, it wasn't surprising, really, the verdict that we received last night, because very seldom are police officers, very, very seldom do we see this type of injunction go through with police officers in a grand jury. As you know, I mean, there's a hesitation to indict people of any kind of authority or militarization. It just doesn't happen very often.
Right.
So, unfortunately, I was rather I was disappointed, but I was not surprised.
Oh no, I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah.
Actually, it was. It's. I grew up in Chicago, so
Oh, yes. Okay, then.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys heard the top of the show, but as I was telling Rock, I blame. There's a couple of people to blame in that whole situation, and my first one is Michael Brown's mother and father. Because my mother, growing up in the time that we grew up in, which is a little bit more, a country had more racial issues than they do now. And in Chicago, she taught us stay out the system. And the first problem was their kid was stealing, And, those stealing the cigars was the match that lit this whole explosion, that caused the whole explosion. So if he had a little bit better judgment and better upbringing to keep him from stealing cigars in the store, and then having the nerve to walk down the middle of the street with his stolen cigars boldly, a lot of it wouldn't have happened, So I have to take it back to, the root of the problem. And then the kid was stupid,
well, there's always a precursor to anything that leads up to generalized violence.
That's right. And the police,
and we see that everywhere.
But the officer was supposed to be smarter than everybody. That's how you get to walk down the street or drive around the city with a gun. Because you're supposed to be smarter than everybody else.
When I was first in protests, going back in my teens, when I was in protests here in the United States, officers then were different. You didn't walk into a protest thinking you were going to get killed.
Right. That's the truth.
But that changed.
Right.
That changed over time, and now I think when people walk into a protest, there is that edge where they're afraid they're going to be killed. There's an edge that, because we are declared now terrorists, because of presidency, the Bush's presidency, not the first,
right.
second.
The Patriot Act.
Right, because and also because of the ADA, the Animal Enterprise Terrorist Act, which, once you're labeled as a non-human, once you're labeled as anything other than a human being or a sentient being, the same happens with cows and with pigs. They're not called their true names. They're referred to as livestock. So once you start to kind of distance yourself from another sentient being and just call them by a label, it makes it so much easier then to commit these atrocities.
Right.
And I think that dogs in particular are getting are being mislabeled in terms of politics. It's almost like pit bulls are being seen as a ferocious entity, and not seen anymore as a sentient being.
That's right.
And I think that comes and goes throughout history. We see that again whenever we see a great disparity in a country. It's just so much easier to label other sentient beings as a threat.
Right.
And that's where it comes down to. And so when I see the rising of shootings for animals, I also see at the same time, like as you mentioned earlier, that there's many police officers that do not see activists or other human beings as sentient beings.
Right.
So this goes hand in hand. And all we can continue to do is keep trying to keep the voices alive.
Exactly. That's what.
Insanity.
Yeah, and that's what we try to do.
I think
go ahead.
One good thing that we saw, we were posting on that specific issue several times about police officers shooting dogs, and we got a lot of feedback from police officers on our Facebook pages.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of them were speaking out against what was going on with police officers being violent towards animals. So that was one positive thing, and I think all we can do is really hope that more of those exist than the bad ones.
Yeah, I would like to think so too. Good point, Anthony.
But at the same time, I would definitely be wary at any functions, when we're out protesting or demonstrating, whatever you want to label it. Be very wary of any police officer because of the facts that you just laid out. So,
yeah. So I would like for each of you guys to, take the time and just tell us some of the things that you would like the public to know and some of the things that we could do, to help and support what you guys are doing, because it is my feeling that the animal community at large is not as politically minded as they should be, and everyone will hear next year we're going to start something, and Paula keeps saying, shh, shh. But we're going to start another kind of a organization, specifically geared at bringing the animal groups together as political force, because I think that that's something that's missing,
I agree.
And everybody gets caught up in their particular interest area, and we forget about the big picture where because we could do a lot more as one big $20 million vote. I mean, $20 million. That's my movie budget. 20 million voter block than we can as individual groups,
Agreed.
So we want to, next year, after I get my mortgage paid off and everything, so when the government comes after me and I'll let people start saying, we got to bring this guy down. At least my house will be paid for. So anyway,
You'll have to keep in touch with us, Foster, because it was one of the things that we wanted to accomplish was bridging gaps between some activist groups. That was part of ALA's mission statement. So,
and
we do focus on political issues.
Yeah, that's where
it's human rights.
That's where it's at. That's where it's at, man. This country, the politicians only care about one thing: votes. So if we can affect change through votes, then we can be effective. People will listen to us if we represent, like I said, and it doesn't matter whether it's locally or nationally, because if we are all together in some form, then we can affect change. Because if a politician is running for or trying to, being swayed back and forth between taking a side on the issue locally in Florida, if he got 10 million emails, it doesn't matter where those 10 million emails came from. It's 10 million people who are voters who are looking at him and expecting him to do the right thing. And understanding that all politicians are looking at their future in politics, So if you're a local guy, you're looking to be a national guy. And if you're a national guy, you're looking to be president. So 10 million votes, 10,000 votes. That means something to these people. So that's the way that I think we want to go in the future with what we do. So tell
Good
us.
idea.
Yeah. So anybody jump in there first. And Ray, you there? Or did we lose you? Ray.
May have lost.
Ray, you dropped? Okay. And anyone who wants to call in also that's out there, our phone number is 323-965-1600, and you can give your opinion of whatever's going on out there, But, if we don't really want to talk about Ferguson, so, but we're talking about stopcrush.org today and heart sticking and other, crimes against animals and things. So we're going to try to get Ray back on the line.
I'm here.
Oh, you there?
Oh, they did.
Good.
Oh, okay. So, Ray, did you hear what I was saying?
The majority of it, yes.
Okay. Well, the part that you didn't hear doesn't matter. It wasn't important anyway. But excuse me. I was saying, can you tell some of our audience about what it is that you see, the things that you want to get across and people know, and also with that, how people can help your fight?
Generally, my department would Stop Crush is the investigation. So if people are more aware, if they're not putting these things out on Facebook and other social media, saying report this to the social media, because what happens is these people are removed, their accounts are removed, and then we have nothing to work with to investigate and track them down.
Oh. So it's better not to have them removed? Just call you? Send you an email?
It's better either send us the email or, contact the correct authority that's going to do the investigations.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have report abuse tabs on the stopcrush.org website right on the top, and it will give you links to several sources where you can report depending on your location and depending on the video's location or whatever you find, images, etc. Also, if you don't want to deal with reporting it or watching the video to see what it is, you can send it to stopcrushteam@yahoo.com.
So if I wanted to find a crush video, how would I go about that? And how much are they, and who's buying them?
That varies, but a lot of animal crush video that's on the internet is hidden within other pornography websites. But there are crush sites, and a lot of them they do advertise what they call soft crush, which is the crushing of insects and things like that.
Oh, that's.
We don't really use that terminology in our organization. Mm-hmm. We kind of just talk about what it is, but they advertise that because it's legal everywhere. But once you join the website, there are ways to find their other videos.
Wow.
And there are different ways that Ray and the other investigators get in and connect with these people and try to find out more about them.
Right. And how much does a video like that cost, man?
Well, that's the thing. The price range is completely varied because these people can buy short clips of the videos. There are some websites that actually take requests like, what kind of woman would you like to see? An Asian woman, whatever. What kind of animal do you want to see killed? How do you want the animal killed? And the more that people request these different things, the more expensive some of these videos get. They've gone into the thousands, multiple thousands of dollars. And that's the scary part of this, because these aren't just bums sitting at, behind a computer, pleasing themselves to this. These people have lives, families, jobs where they make good money, some of these people that are buying these videos. I mean, you have to think about that. This is an addiction, so they're doing it often. And so that means they're dropping thousands of dollars every time they buy one of these videos. So we're not talking about just, this is not just some crazed guy out in the middle of nowhere who's, getting a hold of these videos. These are people who have children, families, maybe some of them even lawyers or doctors, who knows? Because these people have money.
Wow.
And they're all over the world. And the producers are also all over the world. It's not nation specific. A lot of people blame Asian nations and whatnot. That is because Asian women seem to be popular in this. The producers like to use and highlight Asian women.
Wow.
This is a very common theme. So.
Hey.
Wow. Paula? Paula Archer.
Somebody else had something to say.
Oh, so is that Ray? Who is that? Someone had something to say?
I was quiet.
Oh, no, I thought, Paula? Paula?
She's trying to fix her thing.
Oh, okay. She's trying to get her Skype thing together here. So
also, we've seen some pretty insane things, like Marla mentioned. They use almost any kind of animal. They've crushed monkeys, donkeys, horses.
And
we've actually recorded some of these consumers, we call them, asking for human babies to be crushed and offering in the $1 million range.
Yeah.
that's spooky. That's spooky. That is like, yeah.
When we first started to infiltrate one of the cells, the crush cells as we refer to it, we were taking screenshots, our usual. And then when those conversations started to come up started to scroll up the screen. I think there was a moment of disbelief, but I thought, no, they couldn't be asking about a human baby. And they actually were. But I thought, well, that's not surprising because to most people that are engaged in this type of activity, any sentient life will do. Anything that reacts, anything that screams. And the louder it screams and the more it reacts, the more the life form reacts, and the more that these viewers are sexually aroused.
Wow.
It's something that we call torture pornography.
Yeah.
And, this was something that I don't think people should be too surprised about because the correlation, of course, came from torture pornography I think in the 60s and the 70s it became pretty popular.
Oh, the snuff films, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
And also those types of magazines where they had women scantily dressed and they had them chained up. And I don't want to name off a lot of the magazines, but, Ted Bundy even talked about it before he was...
Playboy Hustler.
Well, no, these were actually almost like a true crime kind of magazines.
Oh, really?
And Ted Bundy talked about it. He talked about it before he was executed.
Name some names. See, we don't have the low friends in the high places like that. We don't. I mean.
Well, I don't think any of these are in publication anymore. But they were the true crime type of magazines that had the scantily clad women that were in bondage, and they had the serial killer coming in to do all sorts of horrible things. He said that he got a lot of his ideas from watching these magazines, from reading them. He said, you know what? If you come across your son who has a stack of these magazines, get him to a therapist. Get him somewhere.
Wow. Because
I guarantee you that the reason he had them, I know the reason I had them, was to fantasize about what I was going to do. I mean, that's just something that I remember him saying in an interview while we were researching the history of Animal Crush. Because I wanted to know, where did this come from? How did it start?
Right.
What kind of social, eco kind of political atmosphere do these types of things come into? Where does it start, and how does it manifest itself? So these types of videos have been around in one form or another for a while, but the Animal Crush has been around for quite some time, quite some time now. And we're trying to get it outlawed globally. We'd also like to make sure that the money exchanges are shut down.
The way that they order the stuff and pay for it?
Yeah, if we can stop the way that money is transferred for these particular videos, then I think, just like child pornography,
Bitcoins?
we want to get you want to be able to shut the whole thing down.
Wow.
Hurt them any way you can.
Yeah, the engineer here was saying they're doing payments and stuff with Bitcoins.
Yeah, they were doing that in the deep web. For a while, the deep web was a place where they could go, and we had to upload certain engines in order to get in there and do the same thing because it's untraceable. But the task force had managed to get into the deep web and figure out a way of nailing child. They were basically going after the child ring. They were going after child pornography. And so the same type of people that usually are into child pornography are also, there's some studies being done that child pornography is also linked with Animal Crush.
Yeah, that's, hey, we're delving into the sicker side of animal abuse and some other stuff. We're going to take a pause and pay some bills for a minute or two, and we'll be back. And guys, when we come back, I want to know more about where the legislation is right now, with this stuff, and what people can do and where they can go, and politicians that are, that are fighting legislation and those that are supporting it, okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
Are you a diabetic? Need some energy? Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull sugar-free in Are you a diabetic? Need some energy? Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Need to quench your thirst? Try Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink is the healthiest, best-tasting energy drink around. For more information and online ordering with free shipping, please visit hiphopbev.com. Remember, Pitbull Sugar-Free Energy Drink, suitable for diabetics, great for everyone.
You've got the motorcycles. You've got the girls. You've got your crew. Now you only need one thing.
Let's go. Let's go.
Pitbull, voted the best tasting energy drink. Pitbull sugar-free energy products stand alone in providing healthful nutrition and effective energy without a crash and burn.
We just want to acknowledge Pitbull for sponsoring us.
Love Pitbull.
Gotta love Pitbull.
I love Pitbull.
Love Pitbull.
I love Pitbull.
We want to thank you so much.
We love Pitbull Energy Drink!
Pitbull, the energy drink for champions. Motorcycles.
For energy drinks, we try to take over the market. You know, Red Bull, Monster, Rockstar, they're looking at us because we're creating an image to the public of a healthier energy drink.
Yeah, I think you guys are the most healthy with all the vitamins.
We try.
Okay, guys, so get your cell phones ready, your touch pads, and get ready to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that wonderful social media stuff, because we're taking you behind the scenes of Pitbull headquarters, and we're going to be getting interviews with the CEOs, the presidents, people that make it happen behind the scenes, the beautiful Pitbull girls, and I'm hearing that some motorcycles are going to be coming through. It's going to be amazing. You know, I'm your man Easy, the Hollywood It Guy. We're doing it the easy way, partner of RMC as well as Easy Way TV. Watch the channel every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday night. It's amazing. We're doing it the easy way, so stay tuned because we're going to give you guys all the happenings and how it happened and why it's so big now. It's going to be freaking awesome, so don't go away. Yeah, yeah. All right, guys, so the moment we've been waiting for, Assassin Riders just arrived there, the official motorcycle organization for Pitbull Energy Drink. And I'm standing, the gentleman behind me is the president and CEO of the organization. Talk to us, what's going on?
Well, we're Assassin Riders MC out of Long Beach, California, and we've been
Hey now, we're back and black. Hey, so, remember, Pitbull Energy Drink at hiphopbev.com. You can order some of this good stuff and keep this show on the air because we're doing everything that we can to bring you the information you need to know. And during the break there, I saw on CNN, boy, I'm eating Baba Ganoush this morning. Must have went down the wrong Baba and windpipe. But yeah, they cooked Ferguson last night, guys. So as I was saying, where are we at legislatively, guys, in terms of is there a push towards the White House? How far up does awareness of this problem go?
It has been outlawed now in the United States. We pushed very hard to get it outlawed several years ago, and
who was the biggest supporter with that? What politician?
Elton Gallegly.
Hmm.
Elton Gallegly. It was his bill that was passed along.
Elton
Gallegly.
Where's he from?
Simi Valley, out in California. He's retired now from. He was a congressman. He's retired now, but he still is very active in helping animal causes and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
He was great. There was no pretension about him. There was no air of distance about him. You could talk to him very plainly about these things, and he's still an outspoken proponent against animal abuse. So that's where we initiated the bill. The bill that he drafted was very quickly. It was on the heels of the Supreme Court's decision. He wasted no time in redrafting a bill to get it passed. And that's where we came back into the situation where we pushed very, very hard to get it passed. Because we were up against quite a bit of opposition.
Now,
that's an understatement.
Yeah.
I know Anthony will elaborate.
Well, Anthony, please elaborate, because plus I want to know who could possibly be against this.
Well, see, the thing is, what you have to understand is that the original bill that was in place, the original law, it was Section 48 in the Constitution, the articles of the Constitution, to be precise. The reason why it was there was such opposition to that to begin with was because, again, as I said, the bill was overdrawn. It was overbroad. It didn't actually even have the words animal crush video in the bill. It was targeting all forms of animal cruelty by the wording, even though the law was meant to target animal crush video when it was passed. So the problem was the hunters thought that we would eventually target their enterprise. We would try to take down, their websites, their hunting magazines. And as you know, Hunting Magazine itself makes millions of dollars in a year. So we're talking about big money. And that means the NRA got involved. And that was our first major adversary. They came at us hard. And they went after the law hard. And the Supreme Court eventually did dismantle the law, minus one judge, that was Justice Alito. He was the only judge who said, wait, let's not throw this law away, let's retailor it, let's rewrite it, But they didn't listen to him, and he was actually very angry. He actually stated publicly that the reason why the law was torn apart was because the rest of his justices were advocates of the hunting industry, and he was not. So that was in about the beginning of 2010 when the law was torn apart. And that's why I wanted to relay you to Marla on the Stevens issue, because she was involved in the dogfighting issues for years before I was even on board with her. So she knows a lot about it. But when she brought me in and about the 2008, 2009 area, she had already begun to form StopCrush.org. It wasn't called StopCrush.org at the time, but she had a group of people together that were going undercover. They were going into these sites, and they were trying to find out who these people were. They were collecting information, and it was very stressful for them. It's a very emotionally damaging subject to deal with on an every single day basis. It was very hard on people, and Marla lost a lot of people to emotional stress. And by the time I got in, I was watching people, leave left and right because they couldn't handle it.
I can imagine.
And like right now, Marla and I are the only original StopCrush.org members.
Really?
So
yeah, it's a
not
tough
easy.
thing. No, absolutely.
And we understand that. We understand when investigators have to take time off. Ray took a little bit of time off and came back and then took up the role of director. But after the Stevens, the verdict because of the Stevens case, and the problem with that was, when I'm not going to name them, but an animal protection group tried to use the law to prosecute this Stevens guy for the dogfighting case. And it was obviously a bad choice because that got the law thrown away.
Right.
So anyway, as soon as that law was struck down, Congressman Elton Gallegly came up with a couple of different bills. The one that actually made it through was originally H.R. 5566. And the problem with the bill in the beginning was that it only targeted the international sale of the Crush videos. It didn't completely ban them like they are now. And throughout the course of us getting our supporters to phone into senators, congresspeople, throughout the entire year, we were asking for them to put teeth on this law, to make it real, to make it powerful, because banning the international sale was not going to do a thing. So they actually did. By the end of it, we put enough pressure on the Senate so that they did actually tailor the law to ban it in the same way that child pornography is banned in this country. And they came up with the Animal Crush Video Prohibition Act of 2010. Now, under this law, you can't buy it, you can't own it, you can't watch it, you can't sell it, you can't have it, period.
Or what?
So, well, you get up to 7 years in prison per count. That means one video is 7 years.
Yay.
And a very hefty fine per each count.
Oh, that's great.
So these two people from Texas, they're being charged with several counts. And I don't know what they're going to get.
Right.
But what happened when they went in front of Judge Sim Lake was that Judge Sim Lake ruled this as a free speech issue. So he struck down the charges, the Animal Crush charges. And it, honestly...
Free speech, you can make the videos as part of your free speech?
Well, that was the initial battle we had to get the law.
Illegal. Yeah, the actual act is illegal, but buying, selling, showing them, he ruled that all as free speech. Yeah. So
buying and selling them is free speech.
Yes.
But making them is not.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the initial
that was at that point.
Wall that we ran into when we were first passing the law, when all of us were first passing the law, and the ACLU also spoke out. And we had to contend with the ACLU after the NRA. We had to contend with the ACLU and try to get people to understand this is not a free speech issue.
And that's
the sad part, because I'll agree with 90-some-odd% of what the ACLU does, but that 10%, you know,
right?
They just don't get it right.
Right, right. So that's amazing. Did anybody ever get the chance to talk to the NRA to get them to understand the difference between?
Actually, that was an awkward situation. Actually, quite a few of their members, their yearly members, this was an unusual situation because Antony and I are kind of well known for being anti-hunting in the United States.
Okay.
And so the hunters were I was really surprised to hear from some hunters that said, we don't get along, but we're going to support this particular issue because we think the NRA is wrong.
Oh,
so
really?
there weren't a lot of hunters that did that, but there were some that I was actually surprised to see them standing up to the NRA in the NRA's website and Facebook pages and speaking out. That they don't want to be associated, with Animal Crush. Right. Some of these hunters, but the vast majority of hunters, I don't want to get.
They're not that smart.
Well, Antony and I are so hated by them that it's
right. It's like anything you guys got to do with, they don't like you.
Yeah, and in addition,
sounds like my life.
We see.
I got a lot of those people.
What I see now too is a lot of hunters that are so against wolves are behaving in a fashion that is reminiscent of how crushers are in Animal Crush. I've seen videos or photographs where they've posed with dead wolves, with their feet on them, simulating sex with the dead animal. And so I would have to say that the majority, and this is just my opinion, I would have to say the majority of hunters really didn't weigh in on the issue one way or the other. Mm-hmm. But there were some hunters who did speak up against what the NRA was doing. The NRA kind of lost its power at that point when Antony started posting a lot more articles outlining what the NRA was trying to do. And when we were dealing with a lot of the insiders that were coming onto our particular social sites, and we started fighting back more vocally in the media at that point, because I think that nobody with a conscience is going to support Animal Crush.
Right.
And this is not a free speech issue, but I understand, the ACLU will, it's not that they're pro-Animal Crush or pro-child pornography, but they're such sticklers for freedom of speech that I don't think sometimes, I think that the smaller details may escape them. They actually spoke out against banning child pornography videos too. That not because they were for child pornography, but because all they see is that amendment right of free speech, and this is not speech. It's just not speech. So I think that I knew that they would come back and try to fight it later, the ACLU, but the NRA finally just kind of.
Well, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. I mean, we just.
No, it's not.
We, along with the Animal Legal Defense Fund and the Humane Society of the United States, we all filed amicus briefs after Judge Sim Lake's poorly thought-out ruling, and we did win. We won a lot of. Honestly, we can actually provide you with the link to the trial, the hearing is a better word, and they actually quote from information that Rae had garnered through her investigations. They quoted some of the context of the verbiage that some of these people were saying, because what the defense was trying to use as a tactic was to say that these videos weren't sexual in nature. And Rae had got some really good screenshots and some really good information that just blew that whole defense out of the water. So they were defeated, and the charges were reinstated against the couple in Texas. So the law is still in place and in play. So the only thing we're expecting now is that the ACLU or whatever might get involved, or someone might get involved and bring it to the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court allows it.
It might go back up to the Supreme Court, yeah, if it's challenged again. And we kind of knew that when this law was passed that it would be challenged to begin with. Most laws of a constitutional basis are often make several appearances in the Supreme Court, as you know. So that's pretty much where we are right now on that particular law here in the United States.
Well, hey, speaking of which, hey, Paula, are you out there? What do you think in the midst of talking about how animals are being abused and everything? Can we save a couple?
Sure.
Do you have something that we can kind of let everybody know that's up for adoption out there?
Yes, I have some dogs today.
Okay, well, I happen to have an engineer that has probably some pictures, and we can get some dogs saved in around here while I round up some stuff and get ready to do the hard sticky. Hey, so Marla and Andrew and everybody, Anthony, Andrew owes me money, and Rae, you guys hold on a second. We'll do our segment with Paula and get these dogs saved, okay?
Very good, then.
All right, hold on. All right, Paula, you and Rock, take it away.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
The first set of dogs I have today, they are from the Forgotten Pet Advocates page on Facebook. They're located in Pearland, Texas.
Hold on a second. Wait a second, because Rock's mouse has just went mousy on him. So our show is low budget. We don't have a battery budget. So okay, so he got your beautiful face up on the screen. So let me know when you're ready, Rock.
All right.
Okay, he said go for it.
He's ready. All right.
All right.
The first one is Blanca. Blanca is in the Houston, Texas area. She is waiting for a home of her own. During a thunderstorm, Blanca was happy to get out of the rain and jumped right into the car of a good Samaritan who stopped to help her. Unfortunately, no one came forward to claim her. Her finder did not want to turn her into animal control because in Texas, they don't give dogs a whole lot of time to live. So, Forgotten Pet Advocates is helping to find Blanca a forever home. She is between 2 to 3 years old. She weighs approximately 45 pounds. She has a submissive personality around other dogs. She gets along well with the finder's other dogs who are her size. She loves to play ball. She loves belly rubs and to go on walks. She knows how to sit and is kennel trained. She is fully vetted and microchipped. Now, the next one we have up is actually two. This is Gwen and Rowdy. They are in the Houston, Texas area. These two are brother and sister. They have been in the kennel together for over 7 years. They were born October of 2006. They must be adopted together into a home, preferably a quiet home. They are very sweet and are very bonded to each other. Although the kennel staff loves them, they need that special person to step up and give them a loving home of their own. Now, the next one we have is Jackson. He is also in the Houston area. Jackson was dumped in a kennel yard. He was acid burned up and down his back, and he was starving. He has had a rough beginning and deserves a happy ever after. He is now fully recovered, vetted. He's about 2 years old. He weighs approximately 40 pounds, and he's ready for a family to love him. He's a super sweet boy that loves to be around people. He enjoys taking walks or just chilling out on the couch. He will alert you, that means bark, when a stranger arrives, but soon stops, which is exactly what you want from your best friend to do. He knows how to fetch and enjoys playing. Jackson has graduated from basic obedience training, and he is currently with an in-home trainer. Now we have Zeke. Zeke is in the Houston, Texas area also. He is in a kennel waiting for a home. He's under a year old, and he is such a sweetheart. He is really great with other dogs, and he's very eager to learn new things. He has a great disposition. He's super handsome, and check out those gorgeous eyes. Open your heart and your home to this sweet abandoned boy. He's fully vetted and ready for a family to take him home for the holidays. Now we have Hugs. Hugs is in Houston, Texas area also. Hugs was abandoned with her sister Kisses in a kennel, and Hugs is an American bulldog, and she was born approximately November of 2011. They were mangy, hungry, and in horrific condition. But now Hugs is recovered and fully vetted. Kisses went on to be adopted, and Hugs is very lonely. She doesn't understand why she didn't get a go with her sister. She's super sweet, loves everyone, and she loves to play. Hugs has her bags packed, and she's ready to go to a home of her own. Now we have Adonis. Adonis was rescued. He had a major gunshot wound to his spine. His recovery was extensive and involved. When he arrived, he was without the ability to urinate or defecate, since his nerves that intervened these aspects were damaged. After extensive treatment and time, his functions are totally restored, and he is a normal boy in every way. He's estimated to be between 3 and 5 years old. He's extremely laid back, and his favorite hobby, you'll never guess, it's sleeping and eating. He has shown himself to be compatible with almost every living creature he has met. Now, next up, we have Whitney. Whitney is in the Houston area. She is in a kennel waiting for someone to take her home. She is between 1 to 2 years old, about 43 pounds, super sweet and friendly. She doesn't even know what a stranger is. Whitney has the most gorgeous eyes ever, and she was left tied to a fence near a kennel. The kennel owner, knowing what her fate would be at animal control, was willing to keep her at the boarding facility while we find her a home. She is fully vetted and microchipped. She does great on a leash, and she loves to ride in cars. Now, these dogs are featured today from the Forgotten Pet Advocates, Pearland, Texas. You can go to their Facebook page, the Forgotten Pet Advocates, or you can email them at marlene@forgottenpetadvocates.com. Their website is also forgottenpetadvocates.com. Or if you need more information, you can get a hold of me, and I will be glad to get you that information to adopt one of these beautiful dogs. And that's all I have for right now, and I need a drink. Scratchy throat.
Too bad. Sorry, because I just ran out. You know? Hey, did you say that one little dog, he liked tequila shots?
Tequila shots?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. I might need to adopt that bad boy. Because, we got a little bit of something in common.
Mix up a drink for you and bring it to you.
Yeah, now that's the ultimate adopted dog, I could hear the description now. Knows how to make margaritas, tequila shots, and, Long Island iced tea. Everybody in the country would be after that bad boy.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, man, it was something else I was going to ask you, and I totally forgot about it. Oh, some of our friends, I was looking for, God, it's getting old brain lock. Paul Duff, if you're out there, get in touch with Paula Archer, because we had heard something that you had some dogs that could use a home. And, Paula is the queen of hooking it up and getting dogs rescued and getting homes and stuff. And that's what we like to do around here more than anything. We like to save dogs. So, Paul Duff, if you're out there and you can hear my voice, or anybody that knows Paul Duff, holler, and let's see what we can do on the whole rescue side. So, anyway, guys, we were continuing with everyone from Stop Crush. We have with us Ray and Marla and Anthony from stopcrush.org, and they were telling us about I think when we left off, we were on the legislative part. Paula, what do you think about what you've learned about Stop Crush so far here today?
Well, I'm a little concerned that the judges and the legislation, everybody's saying that, okay, it's illegal to make these, but yet they're giving them, the right of free speech. So basically they're condoning them making these crushed.
Well, no, that's not the actual state at this time. The law does exist banning them completely, in the same manner that child pornography is banned. They are banned under the Animal Crush Video Prohibition Act of 2010. That new law replaces the old law that was thrown away.
Okay.
We helped to enact that before the year's end. Obama signed it, I believe it was late December, into law just before the time ran out because it has to be signed before the end of the year. And we put enough pressure on them to force them to bring the bill before a vote during lame duck sessions. So it was actually passed, and it was put on Obama's desk, and he did sign it. Now, the reason it was a judge, Judge Sim Lake, was the one who ruled against using the law, because they can do that. If the law has never been used before, they can rule against it. So this law has technically never actually put anyone away just yet. We have to get this case through. We have to make these people go to prison for this. The two in Texas, Justice and now I don't remember the woman's name, but the man's name was Justice, which is, thank you, which is ironic.
Yeah. Paula, are you also asking the intrinsic value in terms of, even though the law has been passed, you're concerned at how many people didn't think inherently that the videos passed any, that inherently the videos weren't as dark in nature as they were, or as malevolent? Was that part of the question?
Actually, I kind of find it troubling that they would say, it's illegal to make the videos, but basically that they can't stop them from selling them and distributing them, and because it's your first right, freedom of speech,
right?
That they can watch them, and there's no problems, no repercussion from that.
Okay.
It's like, if it's illegal to make them, how can they say that it's okay to distribute them, because it's freedom of speech?
Right. So there's a certain moral ambiguity that you're confused by, and I understand that. Yeah. That's something that I think every country has to ask itself, is where is the ambiguity? If we're saying that it's wrong for one situation, it should be wrong for the next. It should be a moral baseline. And even for somebody to have thought of the idea that, well, this is actually, it makes it okay if it's freedom, if it's a freedom of speech. But I think in this particular case, it was a misunderstanding of the language itself. I think people were concerned that this was in some way going to infringe on somebody else's right at some point. This is the same problem they had with child pornography, in the terms that they were like, well, this may. One thing that I've noticed about the United States, and I don't mean this in a disreputable way, is that this is a reactionary country. A lot of countries are reactionary, but this is also a reactionary country as well. And so what people tend to do is say, well, if this happens, then they're going to take the rights away of this and this and this. Mm-hmm. And that's really not, in most of the cases, and there's a reason for people thinking this, because it has happened in the past. It has. So it's justifiable to think that in certain respects. But then we get caught up in the whole mob mentality, where people just have mass paranoia. Now, in this particular case, when it comes to legal situations, it's not so much a mob mentality as it is our legal representatives aren't really thinking it completely, critically thinking it through, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's a lack of morals so much as there's this intangible paranoia that, well, gosh, if we get this banned, then they're going to start banning everything else.
Right.
And that's something we have to quietly and calmly and repeatedly talk through. We have to talk them down off the ceiling and say, no, we're not going to start burning books. We're not going to pull off every television show on the air. Let's be reasonable. Let's talk about this. And it kind of deflects from the main issue. At least that's what I would like to think, because I certainly hope that those that are enlisted into power don't have such a moral ambiguity that they're willing to overlook this type of extreme torture. But as society has progressed, we've clearly seen that there is a selective compassion element to how humanity addresses itself in societies. One animal is considered a pet, another animal is considered food.
definitely can't disregard the power that some of these lobbyist groups have also in corporate America, period. So that was definitely a part of it. You know, like we explained about the NRA issue and things like that. You know, the hunting industry has a lot of power, a lot of power, and they really swooped in and put their support behind tearing that initial law down to begin with. And I think, you know, obviously what their main fear was that we were going to affect their industry, you know, the hunting industry, period, their ability to, you know, advertise and draw people in and make the money, because the money is that the hunting industry takes in annually in the United States is staggering. It's just, it's unrealistic. And like I said, just one hunting magazine of the name Hunting Magazine takes in millions of dollars annually. So if you put that together, think about gun sales and everything else. I mean, it's just blown out of proportion. So it's something that they have to protect. And it's just another example of corporations putting their control behind legislation. And a lot of the justices are also pro-hunting. So, you know, add 1 + 1 and you get 2. And it's that simple. But the new law is specifically tailored. It's actually called the Animal Crush Video Prohibition Act. So it is specifically tailored to target animal crush video. And the wording of the law is very specific in that it targets the sexual nature of the video. So in other words, if we're going to try and have someone charged under this law, we have to show that it is animal torture based on appealing to the prurient interest of the viewer. So it's very specifically worded, very specifically tailored, and it will only target animal crush video. Now there's been some talk and some concern about, well, what is an animal crush video? We personally think that it's pretty obvious what an animal crush video is. And we could look at any video and say, well, this definitely falls under the law. And we could look at another video and says, well, this will not be able to be charged under the law. And we have to be careful what we try to charge, who we try to charge under this law, because we don't want another problem like what happened with the previous law. So we just have to be discerning and intelligent about how we go on about our business, trying to use this law to target the specific nature of the videos, the animal crush videos themselves. We can't stray from that. We can't try to use this to prosecute someone who just did a random act of violent torture on an animal and filmed it. It has to appeal to the prurient interest of the viewer.
I hope that answered.
So that's, yeah. See, that's, and who determines that?
The law,
well, first,
the bill?
it would be the prosecutor's job to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
That's who would really determine it. Now, like say the HSUS wanted to try to get their lawyers in and prosecute someone and have them arrested, you know, call the police, first have them arrested for what they're doing, what they have housed on their websites and whatnot. Then they would be charged and brought in, and when it went to court, it would be the prosecutor's job to show that this does fall under the Animal Crush Video Prohibition Act. Mm. And that really isn't difficult so long as you, from the beginning, have identified this properly as an Animal Crush video to begin with.
Right. Well.
Right.
Well, man. Okay, so so you guys got any more that you want to share with us, or what part have we left out? Because I'm going to try to get Ray in here soon before she ends up going to, not Ray, Regina, I think it is, right, Paula? Before she, before she ends up going to work or something on me on the heartstick stuff. But tell me, what have we left out of here, Marla?
The one thing that I think all of us would encourage is that no matter where you are in the world, we do have chapters opened, and we encourage that you don't stay silent. If you see these videos, if you find them, if you even see them in stores, in some places they're actually to sell in stores, fight back. Speak up. Don't condone it. Speak out against it.
That's right.
Help us pass legislation. Help us get in touch with. I mean, most of the representatives in other countries we have listed on our website.
Is there,
and how to get in touch with them.
Yeah. Is there a mailing list or anything that people can send to you guys that to get part of, so that they could stay up on breaking news and different things going on?
The mailing list, we still need to do that option. I know we haven't done that yet, but we keep updates continuously on our website that are connected, of course, to the social sites. So everybody knows where we are right now. We know that most of us, what we're trying to do is get the EU. It's a lot more difficult to go country by country. So we're trying to go through universal parliamentary bodies like the EU or
right now we're focused on getting the United Kingdom Parliament and the German Parliament to pass specific law against Animal Crush video. They have base, like the United Kingdom has base obscenity laws that can be applied to the act of creating an Animal Crush video. And they did actually indict people on it. I think it was back in 2007, Marla. I don't remember.
Yes.
Somewhere in the area. And but it was a slap on the wrist. They basically got 6 months and probation. It was really just not sufficient.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is have them pass specific law against Animal Crush video itself, just like child pornography is banned. So. We're working on that in a couple of nations. We have petitions for that that we regularly post on our website and on our Facebook pages.
And try to get me on one side. Go ahead. I'm talking to myself, brother.
One of our directors in Greece actually did help pass a law in Greece there, which was great. She got some animal advocate groups together, and they fought to put an Animal Crush rider into a animal protection bill. So there are different ways that this can be done, but it can be done. So I think that the best thing for people to know right now is that they can contact us at any time. All you have to do is get on our Facebook page or write to us at stopcrushteam@yahoo.com.
Okay.
Anything you find, any videos, pictures, stills on websites, hidden within pornography websites, whatever you find, please send it to us. Send us the link. The direct link would be great. If you don't know how to report these yourself. And we also do have a report abuse tab on the website, which has several global organizations that you can get in touch with, from Interpol to the FBI's IC3 network on the internet, and several other foreign agencies. So we're really trying to make it so it's easy for people to actually report themselves. But as Ray said, a good point that she made, if you find it on Facebook, don't report it to Facebook. Send it to us or send it to the FBI. Send it to someone who's going to do something about it. Facebook will just remove it.
Right.
And then where do we go from there? It's gone.
It's like dogfighting videos. I mean, even though Facebook is an American server, it's federally legal to advocate for dogfighting and for a lot of this animal cruelty. And since the FBI has made animal cruelty a federal offense in all states, I don't know how accountable Facebook would be. Nobody has taken them to that task yet for housing any of this material on their website, on their server. So I do know that when they are notified of it, 9 times out of 10 they will remove the content, especially if it's child porn.
Oh, child porn, yeah, but the dogfighting. I mean, only thing Facebook will remove quickly is if you're trying to do something positive.
Yes. Yeah, I've noticed that. Activists
They'll
are.
jump all over that shit.
It seems to me, at least,
You're in jeopardy.
that it seems to me that activists are targeted more often than not on Facebook's social service. But I'd say that's an opinion I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's my opinion too, because I'm convinced that Facebook is being run by computers. I don't think that there's only probably 3 humans somewhere around there, and one of them is cashing checks.
Think about it. Who pours money into Facebook?
Yeah.
Animal agriculture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Suit companies.
Yeah.
The hunting advocates.
Right.
Yeah, I think that anybody that buys into theirs has it. Corporations, for sure. Well, I mean, we live in an oligarchy, so they have sway no matter in all walks of our lives.
Yeah, exactly. So, bottom line, we're all aware of that part,
Right.
What they say, we've seen the enemy, and the enemy is us. So,
yeah, that's kind of an interesting allegory too towards 1984, the book, the Orwellian book, where near the end they were policing themselves.
Yeah.
Out of what was it that Noam Chomsky said? He said it was the manufacturing of consent. And that's a tool that the propagandists use, of course, to manufacture the consent, to get people to agree to something that they normally wouldn't.
Exactly. And that statement that you made, Marla, about people panicking about stuff that they don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's also a tool that's used, I think, by political parties to cause a mass hysteria.
Yeah.
We've seen it recently in several incidences.
Yeah.
Where and what that does is, what that is designed to do is to erode rights. You get a public whipped up into a frenzy over something, and then the government steps in and says, well, we could do this to stop it. And everybody says, yes, that's a great idea. Oh, that might take away some of your rights. That's okay.
Yeah, right.
So,
exactly. I mean, it's 9/11 was a perfect example, and when, like I said, I'm a little bit older, so I grew up, and I remember there was early on, in L.A. particularly, they had when they had these riots, right?
Right, the LA riots. I was in that.
Yeah. They passed this law. The police hurried during that whole thing. They passed a law. They created this thing called the Batarang, and they quickly shot this law through, and everybody said, yeah, on the Batarang, which allowed the police. It was this tank-like thing with this alarm, and that they could just drive up and knock your door down and go literally almost run through your house with this thing, with this tank thing.
Right.
And it wasn't until later, much later, because they passed it on the auspices of these radicals, these protesters and people are hiding in these houses behind these iron doors. And what they found out later was, even if you live in Beverly Hills, now the police, because they had a perfect case of it, the police used this Batarang and ran through somebody's house, knocked the whole front wall down and everything. And then they found out that they had the wrong address. It was the wrong house. And the police wasn't responsible at all. The people had to pay for their own house to be fixed. There was there was no apologies. There was no nothing, because the way that they allowed them to rush this law through said that the police could do that because they thought it was only being passed for those people.
Right. It's interesting. They design these laws, and then the laws stay.
Yeah.
And then they're applied to other situations.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty young when I just happened to be in LA at the time that the riots broke out. My friends and I were like, run! We were trying to find a place for safety. But I didn't know that they had passed a law directly after that or during that process.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know about that.
No, that Batarang that's classic LA, man. That was
classic LA.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah. It was one of the things that because coming from Chicago, I was amazed at just how that whole process worked, and now And
it's
then
like the ag legislation too, and it's like the Patriot Act.
the Patriot Act. That Patriot
That
Act
was
is
a big
scary.
one. Yeah, that was a big one.
That's scary. I mean,
and we really don't have a whole lot of rights.
No.
The rights are slowly being eroded away once they enact it and once they act upon it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that I've seen happening, and this happens to a lot of countries.
And well, you know, the funny part is you will continuously hear the Republicans say, and you know, and I'm an independent, so you know, it's not that I'm this or that, but you will hear the Republicans say, we need to get big government out of people's lives, and they're the ones that's passing these laws.
But they seem to be pursuing the interests of corporations, industries, and the fundamentalism that's, again, that's something that you're going to see happen in any country that has these types of polarization. Fundamentalism starts to resurface, and on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm starting to see happen more and more. It's a dividing line, and it's also something that's based out of fear.
Yeah.
Of losing personhood or becoming a quote-unquote non-person. I mean, I'm kind of careful with some of the political things that I say now because of, I'm Canadian by birth, and I'm here in the United States as a permanent resident, and I'm applying for dual citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the things I've said publicly there's been knocks on my door or telephone calls, and, you know, from officials saying,
right.
You know, really, you want to stay in the country and you're going to talk like that? Really? You know, that kind of thing. And so, I mean, I was advised by a lawyer that I have that, you know, she's like, let us get you dual citizenship before you get kicked out of it. And it's kind of frightening because people are so big on freedom of speech, and yet there's an era of fear.
Right.
Of saying too much.
Right.
And once that happens, again, we go back to the 1984, once that novel. Once we go back to that, once we allow the fear to silence us, we're doing it to ourselves.
Right.
So yeah, I think that you're right with the era of intimidation. People are scared.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Man.
And it's frightening.
Yeah.
It really is.
So, well, I want to thank you guys for coming on, and you know, and even you can come back and or even stick around if you want to. You know, we'll take a commercial, and I'm gonna see about getting Regina on here. But you know, feel free to stick around with us, Paula.
Yes.
We still have Regina coming, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Regina is standing by, and the Crush team is welcome to stick around and tell us more after Regina shares her information with us.
Well, cool. That's cool. Now, and I have
great.
Yeah, technically, I have to find out. Can we have bring Regina up on Skype too? Okay. I'm told that we're Skype heavy. So if you guys, Ray and Anthony, if you guys are gonna stick around, then, you know, if you're going to be around, we can call you back, right?
Let me see if I can try to do it. I don't know.
No, wait a minute. Rock said, huh?
Grab a sandwich, watch some of the show, and then we can Skype them back in.
Yeah, Rock said.
My tummy's telling me it's lunchtime.
Yeah, Rock said that he's going to, he can try it and see before we let them go. And we just push the system to the max, man. And see what happens. If it blows up, you know, all of a sudden, and you guys hear about, you know, another fire in L.A., it wasn't because of Ferguson. Yeah, it was because, you know, we pushed the internet to the max. They blew the internet up. You know.
Before we
something tells me that wouldn't be the first
I'd like to add one more request to everyone listening.
Right, sure.
Please do not post these videos or these images publicly. We fought for the law to make it illegal for a reason. And it is illegal to post them. It's illegal to share them. It's illegal to view them. The only thing that's legal is for you to collect them and bring them to a party that will bring them to authorities, or to bring them to authorities' attention yourself. Please send them directly to our email address, stopcrushteam@yahoo.com, or send them to our Facebook mail, not on our Facebook page publicly, but to our mail privately.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes
That's-
a lot of sense because.
Yeah, that's good information.
All right. So, what do you think? You gonna be able to get Regina up here?